Most business owners think getting more clients means getting more leads. But what happens when you send more people into a process that already isn't converting? You don't automatically get more clients. And today, Vic and I are going to talk about how to actually pull this off. Hey everyone, I'm Kristen with I.D.E.A Cleveland, and I'm the marketing guy.
And I'm Vic Ng with Viking Sales Consultants. I'm the sales guy.
All right, marketing and business owners, they're obsessed about leads. They want more of them. They want to, hey, do we need to spend more money on advertising? Do we need to get more social media? Hey, should we be on TikTok? How do we do more? More? How do we do anything to get more leads? Sometimes that's not always the answer, because more leads doesn't necessarily mean the close rate's going to go up. It doesn't necessarily mean that the sales team isn't going to be stressed because now they have an influx of all these leads. Are they even good leads? I don't know. But more is not always the answer. So, what is the answer, Vic?
Well, let's envision, for those who've done this, it'll resonate strongly, and those who haven't, you will know what I'm talking about because it's a common scene. It's called a trade show, and you have a booth, and you have manned, sorry ladies, that's just a word, but personed the booth with 3 of you because there's going to be, it's crazy. You have 15 minutes of exhibitor time from this time to this time. Now your sales manager said, I want every single person who visits that booth. I want to capture that lead. And they got fancy technology. You paid $500 extra to scan the, okay. So there's the setup. And this is real if you haven't been there. But here's me early on, probably the 3rd time I went to one going, have fun with that. And I don't really care what you just said because I'm a producer, and I'm going to stand off to the side and I'm going to qualify, and I'm going to ask a few key questions, and I'm going to make sure those are questions that are going to identify timing and buying signals and level of interest, or just a simple qualifying thing. Maybe for whatever reason, this simple question will tell me that 90% of the people, it's just not worth it. So I do that, and I am able to get it out of every 100, 3, 4, 5. Because here's what happens on the back end for if you don't do that. You now go back, and this is the biggest thing I hear complaints about from the loud sales manager and even the salesperson who says, I just finished that event. It was crazy. You know, they're drinking at night too, and then hitting the booth the next day. And now I got another one of these in a week. I don't know where I'm going to have time to call all these people. I don't drink. I used to. So there's my first victory. The second is I'm calling 3 people. How many are you calling, Chris?
I'm calling them all. No. See, but I think this is what happens. So I love this trade show thing. So you have, this is where you get more. This is a prime example. You're getting more. But all of a sudden, everyone's signing up so they win the TV that's in your booth. Everyone's signing up so they can. There's 0% knowledge if any of these people that gave you their information or you scanned the QR code, any interest. So, like you said, you didn't ask any questions up front. Number 2, how long is it going to take you to respond to all these people? So, and how are you going to do it? I think what happens is people have these brand ideas like, oh, I'm going to go in, but let's just say it's 100 people. How do you respond to 100 people individually the next week and make it worthwhile?
Oh, can I add to the formula? They visited 50 booths.
Yes.
And they dropped their card into every. Now you're just noise.
Oh my gosh, how do you?
They're getting 1,000 emails.
Yes.
Right? Well, they're getting 50. But.
So you're better off having real conversations at the booth. You're better off having a conversation at the booth and physically, while you're there, pulling out your cell phones and booking that meeting next week, because that's where the response time actually matters. Now, the odds of them showing up, it might be low. I don't know. They might cancel. But the odds of them looking at an email or a text message the week after they got back from this event, I think is even harder because they've been bombarded by 50 other booths that are now following up with them. And then, so now I think this is the problem. People think trade shows are great. Oh, I go out, blah, blah, blah. But I see them as a marketing nightmare and a sales nightmare.
Well, I'll interject again. There is a way for those who are thinking that hasn't been my experience. Hopefully you've done a little of what I said.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome.
And for those planning, here's how you let's just go there. Let's give some quick tips. And this doesn't apply just to trade shows. But first of all, the best opportunities I've had are the ones who I had that conversation real quick. They emailed me. Like literally, I'll get an email while they're walking to the next booth because I did what I needed to do, which is, stood out of the crowd. And it was because they stood out to me. Like we connected. So it's funny because sometimes you don't have to do the chasing. Like they're like sending you an email so they remember. And they know I'm going to be all over it. They're like, he'll call me. But here's the other thing. Before you go to the trade show, you're an exhibitor. You get access to the attendee list. That's what you're paying for. You study it. You know who's going to be there. If you don't know the exact names, you know the companies. And then you can decide if those are ones that you can maybe catch the right people. So you do your homework and you're already going, I don't need to talk to them. And you certainly don't sell to the other booths. That's a big trap everybody falls into. And then the other thing is, and you hear this all the time, when you get into this rhythm of doing it, you are calling people in advance that you kind of know or met before, and you're having a coffee that morning. So it isn't that 15-minute window of chaos. But in that 15-minute of chaos, you can find 3 more. Either that, or you suck, or you're at the wrong event. All right. I had to get that off my chest.
No, that's awesome. So you have interest. How are we going to convert this interest now? Vic's got down, I think what happens also, you kind of mentioned it, we move on to new prospects so quickly. Someone ghosts us. We've talked about this in the past, Vic. Sometimes it's about timing. You didn't realize that, you sent them an email and all of a sudden they went on vacation. They came back from vacation and all of a sudden it's a holiday, or they come back from vacation and their parents got sick. And all of a sudden they're like driving out of town and doing something, like you don't know what's happening there. And so all of a sudden you go, well, I talked to him, we had a great conversation, and I sent him a proposal and I haven't heard, and I'm just going to let it fall off because I'm not a pushy salesperson. But the problem is you have no clue why they've rejected you. So I think sometimes old conversations are one of the things that people leave too early. What's your thoughts on that? Oh,
I got stories, Chris. I do. So we're talking about timing. And I say this loudly all the time. You have to deliver in sales and in marketing the right message to the right person, ... at the right time. I say that because people want to hear that. And then I say, this is what I say that people want to hear. You can't control the timing. Yep, that's right. So then the answer is, just blast everyone all the time. No, I then say, but you can. Here's how you control the timing. First of all, you just said something I love to hear. I don't want to be obnoxious. You're not being obnoxious when somebody expresses interest. They glow in the dark because they need and want what you have to offer. And you're glowing in the dark because you have it. That connection's there. And I'll give you a quick story of where I blew it. I ruined a deal. I'm not perfect. There's a person I know that I talked to months ago who said, Vic, I need what you have to offer. And I probably led him there. I'm giving you the short version, hitting the questions with my ping pong, and he was like, yeah, I could use that. But here's the key. I didn't want to be obnoxious. This is a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. And I did not move him to the next step. I got back to my office and I didn't remember the mood of the conversation. And I was like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to go and do that next step. So I didn't, but it kind of haunted me. And then I saw on LinkedIn that he was ready to do something that exactly was what I was helping to prepare him for. And now I'm leaving a voicemail going, hey, I should have done that before, but it's too late. It's probably too late. So the timing you can't control. Now, let me give a quick story on how you can control the timing. A client of mine today said, talk to somebody who, I got a bunch of people and it's just not the right time. It keeps getting delayed, the project, and blah, blah, blah. We've all heard this. How do you control the timing then? Well, he told me about a deal he had. I said, tell me about the last one that took 6 months or whatever, this long. And he said, yeah, they kept thinking about it. And finally, kind of out of desperation, I just called and said, let's just do something together. And they did something together that led to more work. So what's the answer? It's the old cliche of the salesperson putting their foot in the door. It's not right, but it's also not wrong. Just don't do it that way. So back to you, Chris, but it's all about getting something. I don't care if it's a free thing, an introductory thing. I don't love that, but some kind of preliminary service offering that leads to the rest. Otherwise, you're waiting forever.
No, I love it. You set me up. So also, let's look at the analytics of some of your marketing. There's people that are making comments on your social media. There's people that are email subscribers. There's people that have downloaded stuff from your website.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pick one. Let's pick email subscribers. Let's talk about that first. So you send out an email. Let's just use some simple numbers. Let's say you have 100 people on your list. Nothing big. All right. And you put a blog on there. The blog is to read more, go to my website. All right, cool. And all of a sudden there's 5 people that click to read that blog. Now, at the end of that blog, there's a call to action, whatever that case might be. Maybe it's as simple as a book a meeting or get a free analysis. All right, cool. In your analytics of your email, for how you sent out that newsletter, you know who those 5 people are. You're allowed to cold call and ask them questions based on knowing that they read that blog without freaking them out that you're like big brothering them. You're allowed to send them a cold email like, hey, how's things going, blah, blah, and lead to that conversation of what that blog was. And hopefully you can push them closer. Personalize it. Push them closer. You have all these people that maybe downloaded a free PDF 6 months ago, let's say on your website. All right, you had a drip campaign that went out afterwards. All right, had 4 emails. At the end, if no one booked a meeting, you're saying, okay, that's fine, it's gone. Well, those people were all interested in something. There was a pain that made them fill out a form to get that drip campaign from you, the PDF or whatever. You're allowed to go back in and reintroduce that pain again and see if they solved it. You're allowed to go back.
I love it.
And I think this is one of the problems people have with marketing is they don't go back and see signs that open the door for you to allowed to have conversations with.
I'm fascinated by what you just said, because listen to what you started. You're allowed. And you also used the word cold quite a bit. Back to the stories I shared where, if you didn't edit them all out, one of them was, me being hesitant to do something with, by the way, the punchline of that joke is I can call that person any time I want. Like, I know that person well. What am I holding back about? There's really no wrong answer. So back to you of saying allowed is not wanting to feel salesy, not wanting to step over the line. And your use of the word cold is really making my brain hurt because they already signed up for your email. They clicked on your link. It's warm. Some might argue it's hot. They'd probably be wrong, but I don't care. It ain't cold. So you see what I mean? So I love what you said. You're being gentle, but you're the marketing guy. I'm going to be the sales guy. You call that person not while they're Hilton. If you're listening, don't call people while they're on your website looking at reservations. They're awful. Yeah. I got a blog I got to write about them. But it is okay to go, hey, how'd that turn out? And by the way, it's a small world. Like, do you know these 100 people? I bet. You might know some of them as well as a peeping Tom knows their victims, but at least you know some things about them. Some of them might actually know who you are and like you. So it makes it even more. So again, brain hurt, like it's cold and you're allowed to call. Hell yeah. Chris, back to you. Do you want to redact anything you said and change a word?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm sticking with it. So the next is a lot of us are in referral groups, such as a BNI. All right. Now, you get a referral, you send them an email, you send them a text, they go cold. All right. Maybe the person that sent you the referral wasn't 100% sure what direction they wanted to go in. But somebody understood what you do and says, this person needs your service. You're allowed to bother them a little bit every once in a while. You're allowed to be like, hey, just wanted to reconnect. I know that this didn't go anywhere. Maybe that was a not now answer. Maybe that was somebody who scheduled a meeting and then something came up in life and you guys never rescheduled. I think that's where having that list of people that you need to stay on top of is so important. And I think that's another opportunity that some people miss out on. You don't need more. You just got to take advantage of the ones you've already got.
Yeah. It's follow-up. And it's a cliche to say it's all about follow-up, but let me break it down into what it really is. I don't love the whole marketing thing of it takes 9 touches to, because the fact is, and everybody sees this, when you really have a true ICP, ideal client profile match, they drop like a lead weight through your funnel. I all the time stop my clients in my sessions and say, do you want to do the math on the accumulated total minutes we had conversations before you gave me your money? I do that a lot. I'm like, we met, it's really low. So that happens. Now, it does require follow-up. They don't always happen that way because timing, which we talked about. So what the follow-up really is, though, is being strategic, like I already talked about, of moving them just a little bit closer to the finish line. But the other part of it is, again, it's that sentiment of being allowed and kind of doing things and how cold they are. Is there are shades of gray. I don't know if that's the right term. There are good leads and there are bad leads. There are A, B, and C, and D, and AA and ZZ leads, right? And you got to rank them. And you're only going to have this much time. You don't start in alphabetical order. So you see where I'm going with this. Most tools that I set my clients up with, and this is where CRMs often fail, has to be a prioritization tool. So I give people a prioritization tool that allows them to know exactly where they're at in the funnel with each prospect and client and what the next step is. So if you have 5 minutes to make a sale and you only have time for one call, you know the one call. And Chris, I've shared these stories before. The time, I'm going to repeat this one. I had the flu. I knew I was going down for the day, but I had some follow-up. And I made 2 activities, 1 text and 1 email. And when I woke up from my comatose flu-ridden nap, there was money in my account, and the other one had scheduled a meeting with me. I'll never forget that because it's a true story and it's a daily story. It just happened to be dramatic because I was literally dying. So, does that make sense?
All right. 100%. All right. Our last group of people is current customers and past customers. People forget to upsell their current clients. People forget that you had a past client that left. Why did they leave? Write this stuff down. Keep notes of it. Let's say you're selling commercial insurance. You know when that commercial insurance plan comes back up. You can send them an email like, hey, I know that you moved on because of XYZ, because you know why they moved on. I would like to try to earn your business back. There's no harm in that.
And the next step is just a quote. Just let me give you a quote.
Please let me give you a quote. Yes. Don't let people that leave you completely fall out of your list of ideal, because they already bought from you. Unless there was some kind of completely ridiculous separation.
Oh, no. I'll push back on that one, too. I have clients I've
that's fine.
3 or 4 times. It went bad. Let's try again. That's a whole other story.
Oh, all right, good.
Chris,
if it went bad and they wanted to try again with you, Vic, that's good for you.
Well, sometimes
you would think if it went bad, it's going to be hard to get in.
I went to another company and I said, hey, I'm still here. Let me ask you, though, what would hold people back from mining the bottom of the funnel? That's where I spend a lot of my coaching and consulting time. What holds people back, Chris? What's the hesitancy around going to that past or current client and asking for more money, just to be crass? Give me more money.
I don't know. I think that people, I think people are scared. If they go and ask a client, like, hey, I know I'm doing this for you, but I would like to offer you this service as well, because if we put these 2 together, maybe there's a discount, because I already know that you use this service. And if we just take care of both, we can handle this more efficiently, because then you don't have to deal with 2 different people you're dealing with. There's all these advantages, but I think people feel like they're being greedy.
They are. So it's back to fear. It's back to hesitancy, not wanting to be a bother. And I approve all that. I do not promote obnoxious sales techniques, but when somebody has already given you their money, I'm just going to call it what it is, or did give you money, you have every right, like you had said before, you have permission to call them. Because the fact is, they kind of expect it. Like, how many times have we all heard you didn't follow up, right? I'm getting rid of you because you didn't. Why would you hold back? And it's called customer service. Can it be veiled as customer service and really be sales? Yeah. But how about you just make it customer service and it happens to be a sales thing? And real quick story, I have a client who's doing this, mining the bottom of the sales funnel, but they kind of misunderstood the assignment, or one of their employees did, and did it wrong. And when I coached them afterwards and said, how did your calls go? They said, well, I didn't want to be salesy, so I got the sales stuff out of the way real fast. And that was like, oh crap, I got to hear about that. So what they ended up describing was how they did a sales call badly, because then they just talked about themselves for 3 minutes and then said, okay, now that that's out of the way. So you see the problem. That's in the reverse order. How you doing? What's going on? Last time we spoke, you said your business was growing, thus you needed my service. Did we take care of that need? Where's it got you? Oh, it made you grow even more? So you probably need more of my service. Let's talk about that. And then you get into the sales stuff. That makes sense?
Yeah,
that was easy.
That's kind of a no-brainer.
But it's hard to hold the mirror up. I want to defend that person. They had good intentions, right? They tried.
So I think we can sum up today's conversation with one little phrase: follow up. You need to follow up with the leads that you had. You got to follow up with the leads that you used to have, from the past. You got to follow up with ex-clients. You got to follow up with current clients and have conversations. Follow up is so important, and I think that's the key to sales success in all this. Is marketing has already done some work for you. Networking has done some work for you. You got to follow up on those people.
Love it. And I'll add in, it is about relationship. That's a sales cliche that goes wrong. It's all about relationship. Well, it's not wrong, but this is where it is about relationship. When they're already a client or they were a client, don't hold back. Leverage that relationship and touch base with them. They want it. And does that turn into sales? Will they call you a week later because you were top of mind and give you more business? They just might. You don't know until you call.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for checking out our video. Hope you found this interesting, and make sure you watch and subscribe to our channel.